Let's talk to Samuel Ramani, the Associate Fellow at RUSI, the Defence and Security think tank in London. Samuel, welcome back. Good to see you. Are these talks the beginning of the end?
Well, I think that the Trump administration definitely wants them to be the beginning of the end because it wants to end the war as soon as possible. But I think that there are still a lot of issues that need to be kind of at play. The main thing that we're seeing is that the United States is trying to push for some kind of a grand bargain where Iran makes unilateral concessions on uranium enrichment and also withdrawing from the Strait of Hormuz, whereas the Iranians want a lot more conditions to be attached. And that kind of divide in expectations is preventing this from reaching a deal.
What do you read into the Iranian foreign minister seemingly flying off hours before the Americans fly in?
Well, I think that shows the level of mistrust that's between the two sides, because we've seen two scenarios where there were negotiations that were being held and allegedly getting quite close to a deal, and then we've seen a military action, both in June and now. So this reflects the fact that even though Pakistan is doing a good job interlocuting between the two sides, there's still severe mistrust. Moreover, there are some major sticking points that are much more tangible and real. Iran wants a full deal. They want sanctions relief. They want the lifting of the naval blockade on Hormuz. Whereas if they get all those things, they might reopen the strait and make some concessions on uranium enrichment. That's not to mention the fact that they don't want things like their proxy militias and their ballistic missile capabilities being tied in. So there is a big gap between the two sides. Pakistan is trying to bridge that gap, but mistrust and differences still linger.
How well equipped is Pakistan to broker successful negotiations?
Well, Pakistan can serve as a dialogue facilitator, a little bit like how Oman has served, or more indirectly Qatar has served in the past. And it seems to be working well with other countries like Saudi Arabia, Egypt, and Turkey on the brokering process. We saw them all being acknowledged together by senior Arab officials at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum last weekend. The Pakistanis have historically, obviously, a mutual defense pact with Saudi Arabia, but even during the darkest days of the Saudi-Iranian rift, back in 2016, after the al-Nimr execution and the Saudi war with Yemen, the Pakistanis maintained significant diplomatic back channels and normal diplomatic relations with Iran. So Pakistan is able to liaise effectively between the Americans, the Gulf states, and the Iranians, and they've been trusted to carry out negotiations on America's behalf with Iran for many, many years now.
This weekend's talks are presumably a process rather than an event. What would a successful outcome look like?
Well, a successful outcome would obviously be extending any kind of a two-week ceasefire that Trump keeps announcing into something more durable. It would also probably lead to some kind of a lifting of the Strait of Hormuz, both the blockade, as well as Iran's restrictions on not unfriendly countries shipping oil out from there. And those would probably be the immediate areas, and that would probably lead to a platform for further negotiations on other issues. For example, Israel and Lebanon, making sure that their temporary ceasefire becomes more permanent. The Israelis are decoupling Lebanon from the Iran negotiations, but Iran has made it very clear that any deal with them has to include peace in Lebanon. And then things like ballistic missiles and uranium enrichment, and maybe taking some of the uranium out of Iran that has been enriched over IEA thresholds and taking them to a third country. But first, I think it's got to be about Hormuz and about a ceasefire, and then all these other issues, probably incrementally over time.